Once again, I have decided to disturb my own peace for the sake of views. Honestly, there isn't even guaranteed views in this. This video could flop. But you know what? It's fine. I do it for the love of the sport, for the love of the game. We are going to be talking about the worst mafia romance book that I have ever stumbled upon. Not this. That's Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. Loving it so far. I'm only 25% through, so don't ask me questions. Today, we will be talking about... See, my Kindle didn't even want to show it to you. My Kindle's like, please don't make me show this cover, please. I read The Long Island Executioner by Jamila Jasper. Fortunately, I got this cover. If you go on Goodreads, unfortunately, you will be embarrassed by the cover that they show you. There's actually a thing on Goodreads where you can change the edition of the book, so that way you can change the cover, because when I'm reading books with some very questionable covers on them, I like to change the edition. So that way the people who were stalking me on Goodreads don't think that I'm a freak. Unfortunately, on Goodreads, this cover is not even an option. So this is a mafia romance. I'm gonna let you know right now. 1, that's Psyche K playing in the background. Number 2, I don't read mafia romance. The romance books I gravitate towards the most are the ones that make you want to kill yourself. Let me explain. I just read Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. That is a love story. I love romance books that are specifically love stories, because I think there's a difference between romance and love stories. Love stories are typically heartbreaking and have a deeper message within the pages. Romances, depending on the subgenre, usually they're for fun. And I love a good fun romance. Emily Henry, love Emily Henry. This isn't supposed to be a diss on romance as a genre. Mafia romance, not a subgenre of romance that I typically gravitate towards at all, mostly because I imagine everybody in the book being Tony Soprano. I've never even watched The Sopranos, but I'm thinking, hey, it's a me, a Mario, mozzarella. I think the closest thing to a mafia romance before this book that I've ever read was the Daisy Hates books from the Magnolia Park series. Let me stop talking about other books right now and let's get back to this one. So this was awful. Let me just get that out of the way immediately. It is an interracial mafia romance. And in fact, the interracial part of this is pretty much the only reason why I have an issue with this book. So I was introduced to this by a Twitter user. There was a tweet that just popped up on my timeline and they were like, guys, read this. And I was like, oh! Books like this remind me that anybody, anywhere, at any time can write a book. They have a pen and they have the concepts of a plan, and then they start making stuff. They slap it in a Google Doc and they say, here you go, damn. This video is not going to be a breeding ground for discourse around interracial relationships. If you are in an interracial relationship, I don't care. The issue isn't the fact that it's an interracial relationship. It's all of the stuff around it. We're not gonna sit here and play critical race theory. If you're thinking that I'm gonna be pro race cleansing, pro race purity, whatever you want to say, that's not what this video is. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. There is technically a plot. I honestly cannot tell you the details. There are other aspects of this book that had me scratching my head several times. And also, there were several moments, I wish I caught them on camera. I have other moments that I've caught on camera. A lot of moments in this book where I audibly said, ew. So, brief synopsis. Lucky, that is the mafia guy in question here. He is a rich Italian guy. Lucky, at one point, he was at a restaurant eating, because what else are you doing in a restaurant? Normal people would just eat, pay, and leave. Hopefully tip, at least if you're in America. I know Europeans are weird about tipping culture. That's what most people do in restaurants. Not Lucky, no. Lucky eats, sees the waitress, really wants to get his rocks off, pays the waitress, who really only accepts this offer, this transaction, simply because she needs the money. They go do it in the bathroom, and then he pays, and then he leaves. Our waitress, her name is Althea? Althea. It's a pretty name. After this encounter of theirs, 9 years later, Lucky finds out, whoa, he has a kid. He didn't find out through Althea. He found out through some threat that one of his like rivals or whatever sent to him. They were like, I know you got a kid and I'm gonna get you. He's like, kid? That ain't my baby. When he sees the kid, he's like, oh, that's my baby. My baby, my baby. So point is that Althea was not the one who was trying to finagle child support out of this man. He just so happened to find out that he had a daughter. The daughter's name is like, what's that baby's name? Chiara. Chiara.
How do you say it? No, it's not Chiara, but rather Chiara.
He got my ass. It's Kiara. That makes more sense. The spelling was throwing me off because they spelled it with the chi. With the CH. Althea and Lucky, they fall in love eventually. Blah, blah, blah. Mafia stuff. The end. Now we may resume to the cover. Awful, awful, awful. Truly one for the books. This is not a specifically mafia romance like thing. I think it's just a romance book in general type of thing where the covers are just disturbing. Not disturbing in a sense where it's like I'm clutching my pearls and I'm gasping, but disturbing in a sense where it's like I don't want people to think that I have an issue, that I'm like a gooner or something, you know what I mean? It's about modesty. You don't want to scare the hoes. Thank God. See, this is why I got the flap for my Kindle, because I'm not usually reading books where there's questionable covers on them necessarily, but if I am, you're not gonna know. So the plot itself of this book, very disjointed, very repetitive. There's a cycle in this book. Lucky, mafia guy, tries to figure out who's messing with his family. So he leaves the house. He leaves Chiara and Althea at the house. And so when he leaves, one of them gets kidnapped. Somebody's getting kidnapped. That's just a guarantee. Lucky then comes back to the house, realizes somebody's missing. And so he goes and gets that kidnapped person back safely. Lucky then resumes looking for the people who are messing with his family. He leaves, and then when he leaves, somebody else gets kidnapped. Then Lucky comes back home, finds that somebody else is missing, and so he has to go. Like, do you see? I'm like losing my mind. Thankfully, because this is only over the span of 200 something pages, thankfully this cycle really only happened twice. I was annoyed when I saw that it happened again. I was like, you know what? Keep her. I'm tired of the kidnapping. This is getting absurd. That's all mafia people know how to do. They know how to kill people, embezzle, get the people around them kidnapped. Like, that's all that happens. The plot, it felt repetitive and I was annoyed, and I don't like mafia romances already unless it's Daisy Hates. And even then, I'm low-key bored when they're doing mafia stuff. Also, the actual characters in the book, outside of their names, I wouldn't be able to tell you a damn thing about them. Althea, she worked as a waitress. She got knocked up at her job. 9 years later, she has this 9-year-old. She works at a hair salon. That's pretty much it. Lucky, he's crazy. He does coke and pays for women, and he's in the mafia. That's all I know about him. These characters have zero personality. Ignoring all of the worst parts of this book, the characters themselves are so dry. What is your favorite color? What do you like to do for fun? What is your favorite food? What is your go-to karaoke song? I realized that I walked away from this book not knowing anything about anybody the whole time. Chiara, she plays lacrosse. I'm like, I know more about the baby than I do about you, the main character. So Lucky is absolutely vile. This man does not respect Althea at all. I don't even think he respects women in general, which would make sense considering his track record. He definitely doesn't respect the woman that he swears that he loves so much. I'm gonna stop holding this up. You know what the book is. I'm putting this down. So multiple times throughout the book, when they're getting down and dirty with it, Althea has asked him to wear a condom because she doesn't want to get pregnant. She said it in the bathroom, and she says it pretty much like a few times after they reunited. She's like, put on a condom, and he's like, no, I don't like how they feel. I read some of the Goodreads reviews. We'll get to the Goodreads reviews later in the video. Some of the Goodreads reviews for this book. For some people, this was the only issue they had with the book. They were like, yeah, I really like this book, but I did not like this one thing that happened. When they first reunite, she talks about how she does not like Lucky because she considers that night in the bathroom at the restaurant, she considers that to be the day that he raped her. And a lot of people were like, you were paid for it, girl. You consented. That wasn't rape. Everything about that night in the bathroom is sketchy as hell because he refused to put a condom on despite her asking multiple times. There is something, I don't know. Oh my God, I don't know if that is specifically rape, but that is definitely something. Let me look it up. Stealthing. That's not really what happened though, because stealthing is when you remove the condom without somebody's permission, which is not what happened. He just never put it on in the first place. So the Supreme Court in Canada says that refusing to wear a condom against a partner's wishes may be grounds for sexual assault. But again, that's in Canada. I don't know about America. In a lot of different areas, not using a condom when asked to do so is enough to nullify consent. At least she definitely got assaulted. So all the people who were yelling, they're like, oh, Althea wasn't this and that and the third. She was. Let's pull up the Carfax. So she says, you need to wear a condom. He says, no, I don't. They call me Lucky for a reason. She says, I don't care. He asked what her name is. She says, none of your damn business, wear a condom. He definitely violated her. That was not cool. Another time where they get together, she's like, dude, wear a condom, please. For the love of Christmas music, wear a condom. And he's like, no, I actually want to get you pregnant again. He actually says something that actually made my jaw drop. Nothing escapes. She's mine and she's having this baby. We're going to make everything right in our world with another baby. People genuinely think that once you have kids, everything will just sort itself out. That's not the case. Now you're just dragging in another innocent creature into your fuck shit. That's not how that works. He's like, fuck this, fuck you, fuck what you want, fuck having bodily autonomy, fuck all of that. You're having my child because that's what I want. And you know what the funniest part about this whole thing? It's not really that funny at all. Actually, it's quite sad. So he says this, right? Now, when he actually finished inside of her, to put it eloquently, thankfully, she did not get pregnant again. But imagine if she did, because not even 2 chapters later, no, it was probably a couple chapters later. I don't remember how long. Point is, not too long after the whole baby thing, he sends her away to live in like Tennessee or something because he's a dangerous mafia guy. He can't have her and their daughter be around him because he's dangerous and they're gonna get hurt and they keep getting kidnapped. I'm gonna be honest, the third act breakup in this scenario, oh my god, it was so stupid. The whole thing was just so stupid. It was dumb. It wasn't even a third act breakup. This happened like halfway through. I don't even know, man. 2 weeks later, he's on the phone saying, yeah, I miss y'all. Come home. Mind you, he did nothing to alleviate the danger that's been going around this whole time. He's just been moping and sulking in bed for the past 2 weeks. Finally, he gets on the phone. He's like, fuck it, come back home. This man is just pathetic. And here's the thing, I love a good pathetic man. I love reading about pathetic men. It's amazing. Good Material by Dolly something. I'll put it on the screen. That's a book about a pathetic man. Loved that book. This book made me want to rip my eyeballs out and fling it on the wall. Here's the main reason why I decided to make this video. Because all that other shit, if that were the only things that were happening in the book, I could just chalk this up to just like a whatever. It's a bad book. It doesn't matter. Doesn't warrant a whole video. When they're getting down and dirty, his version of dirty talk is fetishizing black women. Every other quote during their sex scenes involves race play. I don't know if you're aware of this. Jamila Jasper, the author of this book, is a black woman. In fact, her MO is writing a lot of interracial relationships. That is fine. In fact, I think on her Goodreads profile, it says something about putting black women first. Like that's her thing. She loves writing books where black women are being loved on. And that is amazing, but we don't have to do that at the expense of our pride and our dignity. I'm gonna read you every single quote because if I had to read it, you're gonna have to listen to me read this. I'm gonna say it out loud. I don't care. We're reading every single one. I highlighted every single time race play was involved. Let's go. Page 20. This is the first chapter, mind you. I just love a black woman's ass, he whispers. You fine ass black women never want to let a white boy fuck unless we pay. Also on page 20, he squeezes my ass and groans again. It's a nice big chocolate colored ass, isn't it? Page 21. What are you, 18? I doubt he cares. Yeah? Good, he says. Don't plan on going to jail just to get a piece of a black pussy. Page 23. You're tight, he grunts. I'll be quick. Black girls always get me off quick. Page 24. I want you to come, he growls. Fuck, I want the cum from your black pussy. Page 25. You're fucking f***ing good, he whispers. My white cum looks so good dripping down those sweet brown thighs. Page 83. I always like seeing a black woman's boobs, he says. Page 86. I remember exactly how you tasted, he whispers. All those years, I never forgot the sweetest black pussy I've ever had. Page 90. I like tasting a wet black pussy. Page 106. I fucking love watching you touch my white cock, he murmurs. I could come just watching your pretty dark skin. Page 108. My craving for her lips turns me into a fucking animal. Her skin color makes it so much better. I love watching her brown skin, her pretty big lips. Page 110. Her mahogany colored hand wrapped around the base of my cock. Page 114. I want to lick every inch of that black pussy. Page 115. I'll even put my tongue in that sweet black ass. Page 120. Come for me, baby, I whisper. Come on my face with that delicious black pussy. Page 121. You are so fucking tight, I grunt. I love that tight black pussy already. Page 122. I won't feel a fucking hint of satisfaction until I make Althea's sweet black pussy come first. Page 122 again. Come for me, Althea. Come all over my big white cock. Page 123. I love your tight black pussy. I can't wait to fill you with my cum. Page 123. Again, I'm giving you another mixed baby. 123 again. Say it, I whisper. Say it feels good to have my big white cock knock you up. Page 126. You like my big white cock between your legs, he growls. I fucking know it. Page 171. I'll miss every inch of this pretty black ass. Page 172. I'll miss this tight black pussy. Page 184. I would lick your pussy until you screamed and then bury my dick deep in your sweet black pussy. And that's it. That is the dirty talk in question. There's actually one scene at the very, very end of the book that's only lasted for maybe 2 pages, the actual sex scene itself. In those 2 pages, there wasn't a single mention of either of their race when they were getting it on. Congratulations, you guys. Truly a remarkable achievement. I thought I'd never see the day, but then the book just ends. Yeah, it was kind of like Jamila's parting gift to me. She was like, thank you so much for reading this book. You know what? Because you've been such a sport, I'm gonna throw in a sex scene for you that doesn't make you cringe. If you're wondering Althea's thoughts throughout the dirty talk, she was caught off guard at first. Not too long after, hell, shoot, she started to come around during the bathroom scene. That's how quick of a turnaround it was. It wasn't gradually over time. No, it was very much she got into it the first time. Grow a backbone, a spine. It was so gross. Again, nothing against interracial relationships. That's not the issue here. The issue here is the fetishization of it. It's disgusting. You want to read a story, right? Again, Jamila, her whole thing is like black women being loved on, and it's like, that's not love. He doesn't love her, he loves her skin. He loves what she represents. And maybe that was not necessarily the intention while writing, but that's how it comes off. I shouldn't be loved because of my blackness. I should be loved and also just be black. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of those TikToks I see. Oh my God. Of those white guys that get on TikTok and they start pandering to black women by talking about butterfly locks and boho knotless braids. And then there's like black women in the comments being like, who taught you that? Ooh, someone cooked here. And they eat it up every time, and it makes my skin crawl. Guys, you can Google it. He could Google it. Google is available to everybody with internet access. He could have found this out from Twitter. Nobody cooked there. He bought the cookbook off the internet. Anyway, more nitpicky complaints about the book because I can't even be bothered to stick with the race stuff. The writing is absolutely atrocious. Like, obviously the plot was a nightmare, but like the actual writing itself, the sentence structures, the grammar, it's all bad. I've seen 13-year-olds on Wattpad write better books, truthfully. Also, the big elephant in the room, how old is this man? Because he was doing an age check for her when they first got together in the bathroom. She was 18. Absolutely hate that, taking advantage of an 18-year-old in their financial situation just to get your rocks off. So how old is this man? I don't know. It's never really mentioned, I don't think. If it was mentioned, it was mentioned during the parts where I was zoning out and I didn't care. Probably during the mafia sequences of the book, because truthfully, I was not harping on that. There's a big presence of mafia activities happening in this book. I didn't really read it, truthfully. I skimmed them. I'm gonna be honest, and I know that's not great to do. I don't like skimming books, but I'm gonna be so honest. The only way that I could stomach getting through all of this was quite literally just to skim the unnecessary parts. I just don't care for the mafia stuff. There's also a love confession 32% into the book. I have to do some calculations here because again, like at 70% the book was over, and so when I saw that I was at 32% and they were already confessing, or at least Lucky was confessing his love for Althea, I was like, this usually happens on like later down the book, you know what I mean? This usually happens a little later. Really, it was more like 45% through the book, still before the halfway mark, which I don't love. Also, the weird assumptions about the dynamics between white men and black women, I'm not gonna harp on this too much. There were just a lot of points where they're like, oh, black women would never get with white men and this and that and the third, and it's like, that's just not true. Does it happen often? Sure. I mean, statistically, I suppose that's not common, but it does happen. I don't know. I just thought that was really weird.
Okay, I low-key retract this statement, mostly because I bring this up all the time, but I swear to God, I'm only bringing this up because I know from firsthand experience, I get the struggle. I understand the mentality here. As somebody who is this color and also has gone to majority white schools, predominantly white schools for years and years and years, especially during my formative years, like middle school, high school, there is that mentality amongst black girls. Some black girls, not all black girls, but in some black girls, some of them have crushes on the white guys that are at their school because that's pretty much like they're the majority. So sometimes stuff happens, right? There's that mentality of, oh, well, why would he like me when there are all of these white girls who are also at my school who are more attractive or like fit the beauty standard better than I do. In that case, I could understand the mentality there of assuming that Lucky, the mafia guy, wouldn't get with Althea, the black woman. The other way is interesting. I've never really seen a lot of conversations around like white men being insecure about black women liking them. I kind of always just assume that white men just think that everybody will fall for their every whim. I never even, it has never crossed my mind. There's this one scene in BoJack Horseman, but it's this guy that Diane works for. He's a white guy, and there's this one line that he says in the show. He says, "Look at me, I'm a white guy, and I never feel like I don't belong." That's why Lucky voicing his insecurities about Althea liking him back, it's interesting. I don't think it's the being white thing. I think it's the you taking advantage of an 18-year-old during a hard time that really got to her.
Weird assumption to make, but I'm not going to harp too much on that because I suppose statistically speaking, they're not wrong. Let's read some of the Goodreads reviews. Enough about my opinions. What do other people have to say about this? Gwendolyn's review. Good plot, but I couldn't really enjoy this book. The heroine whines too much. I enjoy the mafia books where the heroine is a badass just like her man, but this chick blows me with her foolishness. It could have been a really good book. Trina says, great read, kept me entertained, loved MFC, main female characters, loved the growth in here, loved the mature scenes. There were some chapters that could have done better with editing, but nothing that distracted me. Nothing at all, huh? Nothing caught you off guard? Okay. Surprise. Tanya says, this was a nice book. Characters were good. Just didn't like he had to mention several times black pussy. Other than that, I enjoyed reading it. I like Lucky was able to redeem himself and be with Athena. That's not her name. You didn't read this fucking book, Tanya. It's okay. It's okay. Such a good book. This book is a spicy page turner. I couldn't get enough of Lucky. He is a true testament that people can change for the better. He literally fetishized about black women. Besides that weird detail, this book is a solid 3. There were so many poking holes in the plot, and I feel like I wasted my time reading the whole book. This story was an odd one, lol. While I liked both main characters and their personalities, their way/reasoning for falling in love was a little off to me. It's even more bizarre when you consider how incredibly different Althea and Lucky's opinions are of the first time they met. Don't know if I'd call this dark mafia, but it was a really good story that kept me turning the pages. I'd recommend. This person says, wow, Lucky and Althea were wow. I didn't want to like this book. I hated that Althea had to use her body for rent. I hate how humiliated she was. I wanted to hate Lucky because one night stole her pride. But out of the ashes, Althea rose. She had a beautiful daughter who was smart and excelled in lacrosse. She owned a successful business and she was loved by her friend. But to her surprise, she was loved by the person who had humiliated her 10 years ago. Before he humiliated her, Lucky had studied and stalked her. It wasn't about sex for him, but in his world, Althea was the forbidden fruit because of her skin color. But he was addicted before he had touched her. Read Althea and Lucky's journey to love. I recommend this author. Why is the writing for this review better than the book itself? This kind of low-key made me want to read the book again. This is good, but I'm used to crazier plots from this author. Her writing has improved. Still entertaining, but not my fave. This was an improvement? I suppose glass half full. This could have been worse. Coco says, it was a surprisingly enjoyable book. I just have one criticism. There were 2 comments regarding the ethnicity of the child and how 2 black people couldn't produce a child that doesn't look black or white. Yeah, I totally left this out. Yeah, there's this subplot going on where Althea's ex, his name is like something stupid, David or something. I don't know. I don't really care. Althea's ex, he's a black guy, right? And he swears that Kiara was his daughter for some reason, despite them never sleeping together, ever, and also they hadn't dated for over 10 years. Althea actually ended up getting kidnapped in the book at some point, and the kidnapper ended up being the ex-boyfriend. I will also mention that the ex-boyfriend who kidnapped her, he was going to use her as a baby incubator. You know that one movie, I think it's like Don't Breathe or something, about that guy who's like blind, but he has like a really acute sense of hearing. And oh my god, that movie was traumatizing low-key. I had no business watching that when I was like, what, 13, 14? This is a narrative that has been created by the pseudoscience around racial characterization. The truth is that people from the African diaspora have the most diverse genetic code. The fact is that 2 white people cannot produce a black child, not the other way around. It is annoying that this nonsense about genetics still exists. The plot includes a child that has a father of European Italian ancestry and a mother of African American ancestry. There's also a character of African American male who is claiming paternity of the child in this story, and I guess that is why the author included those highly offensive lines. Highly offensive lines! Ah! Sorry, the book was enjoyable outside of those 2 lines. Wow, highly offensive lines. Because Althea said that this mixed baby could not possibly be his child. The cherry on top of this shit sandwich is that this review was written on my birthday. Now, there were also reviews, like more recent reviews of people who found this book on Twitter and decided to go into Goodreads and be like, what the hell is this? So that was cool. But yeah, a lot of those reviews were from before that tweet went viral. But in conclusion for this video, I will be adding in the clips of me reading the book in real time because your girl was struggling. I can't even cap.
I'll be quick. Black girls always get me off quick.
Get me out of here! Why am I reading this?
This is like the 3rd time he's mentioned that her vagina is black. Of course it is. She's a black woman. Of course. Like, do you have to keep bringing it up? My white cum looks so good dripping down those sweet brown thighs. God, are you reading this too? He got her pregnant? Oh my god. Why would you let him do that to you? Oh Lord, why? Why? You should have done the farted out theory from BoJack Horseman. You know, if a woman really doesn't want the fetus, she can just fart it out. I don't know where that theory came from. I'm pretty sure it came from the Bible. Why am I doing this to myself? This guy is so weird. I don't like him. Every word he says makes me nauseous and sick to my stomach. It's very, very fitting that I have Law and Order playing on my TV right now. Because I feel like a special victim. I'm a victim! Oh, she's into it! She has a nervous, unconscious habit of biting hard on her lower lip when I say something dirty that mentions the fact that she's black. We're only 27% through the book, by the way. Lord help me, save me. One of the things that he says that comes up a lot, apparently, is that black women don't date white guys. But, like, that's simply just not true. You must not be on the internet enough, because I see it all the time, which is fine. I see a mix of both. I see black love, and I see black women loving white guys, and I see vice versa, all right? It's a mixed bag, quite literally. So that's just not true, A. B, he's saying that he is going to convert her, keep her far away from any guy in her neck of the woods. So is he saying that he's going to convert her to white men and ruin black men for her for the rest of... I'll even put my tongue in that sweet black ass. All right. Another one down. At this point, I may turn this into a drinking game. Death doesn't seem too bad right now. I do not like how he refuses to wear a condom, despite her asking to wear a condom. That's exactly how that innocent baby got dragged into their bullshit in the first place. Either this man needs to be castrated, neutered, or put down in the back. In the shed.
That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share it to 10 friends, or else I will show up under your bed and I'll tickle your toes. I have a Discord, I have an Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch, second channel, Goodreads, Storygraph, and a Fable book club. They're all in the description if you would like to follow me elsewhere. Fable, my book club. We are currently reading Technically No Longer Human. February is right around the corner. And our February book will be A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. Yay! I'll see you later. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. Bye.